I dairy because I love to dairy. Growing up on the farm, I fell in love with cows, and I enjoy the crop production also, and enjoy working with my family and the rural lifestyle.
I have a passion for cows. Just really do find comfort in looking at their silly shenanigans, and I don't want to brag, but I just have a good feel for them. I can hear a cow in heat 2 barns down.
Dad fell in love with dairy cattle by being involved in 4-H. He went to World War II and flew Air Sea Rescue B-17, and he said that when he came home, if he lived and came home from the war, he was going to start a dairy. And he did. Him and my grandfather started a dairy together in 1947, a grade B dairy, cow to can. Then in 1960, he bought my grandfather out and built a double-6 herringbone with loafing sheds and upright silos. And then that facility was run by him and then by me for 30 years until we built the facility that we're in now.
Well, we met in 9th grade homeroom and kind of just knew each other through the years and became really good friends as juniors, and as seniors we started dating. One of his passions is bluegrass music, so he went out to Colorado to be a musician, and I was at state writing letters missing him, and wrote him a letter and said, if you'll come home, we'll get married.
When we were married in '74, we were milking about 100 cows. Then in the late 80s, we realized that we were just getting really overcrowded and the facilities were just wore out. The new facility that we built in '91 after a couple years of planning consisted of our double 16 herringbone parlor and also 2 freestall barns capable of holding 260 cows apiece. After getting it up and running in January of '92, after the first year, we realized we were going to have to build more cows to make it cash flow. And so we started another freestall barn in '93. Then we built 2 more freestall barns in '98. That's where we're at as far as our freestall capability now on milking cows.
You know, when we moved into the new facility, we lost the employees that had been milking in the old. It was too much, too fast, because one day you're milking in a double 6 and moving milkers back and forth and everything. It got up to be 14 hours just to milk one milking. And we got up to the new barn, and you could run, at that time we had 14 on each side, and you were milking all 14 at once, and it was just, you know, we had to rethink our day-to-day processes.
As the cows are loaded, they are dipped with 0.5% iodine and stripped, and then we do 4 in a row, and then go back to the first cow and wipe her with a single service cloth towel. After she's milked, we dip with 1% iodine. done everything that you could possibly do with freestalls, I think, through the years. I've tried, you know, the first ones I was involved with building, I was just a kid, and they were just oak lumber and boxed in, terribly boxed in, and the cows wouldn't use them very good. And then we did the tires filled with dirt and put sawdust on top of that. Then when we built the new facility, we tried mattresses. Used mattresses for 13 years, tried 5 different types of mattresses, and finally gave up the fight and put in sand and found out the winning approach. One thing I would point out in our transition to sand is we took the concrete that was formed and poured ready for mattresses and just added a 4-inch PVC pipe to the back of it, thunder studded it down every 4 feet and shot the sand right in there, and that has worked really well. It drains well, the cows self-level it, and we really think that's a good way to do it. Our nutrient management plan is based around a drag hose system that we do about 550 acres, and then the other balance of the 1,285 acres that cropping is tank applied. Since 2000, we've focused on risk management by building heifer facilities to do a better job of raising our heifers, getting them into the milking string faster and healthier. Also have added on more trench silos, been able to acquire more acreage and build more feed inventory to take us through the dry years. The most important part of our reproductive success is our people, our cow comfort, and our protocol. And our people are what makes all the other aspects work. You can have all the perfect protocol, and if they don't follow it correctly, it's not going to work. So that's the reason I put people first. And then the cow comfort, the sand beds, which gives the cows the comfort, the low somatic cell counts, and some traction to ride is important. And then following the protocol that we've set, and we've changed that through the years, but what we're doing now is really working.
It's a very systematic approach here at Myers Farm as far as generating pregnancies. They use a pre-sync off-sync 1411 off-sync 56 strict timed AI protocol for first service. Then they use detector tail paint to chalk tail heads to find the repeat services, and then resynchronize their cows at herd check, which they do on a weekly basis with a double GNRH off-sync 56 program.
Our morning plan is to walk through each herd and mark tail heads. And the blue is they're still in the breeding herd, and the green means they've already been diagnosed pregnant. The tail marking has been a great asset as far as catching heats. And then in the afternoon, whether he or I are on, we go through again and do that. And so we spend a lot of time out with the cows and with the heifers. When we think we're caught up with 5 groups of breeding groups of cows, then we head out to the heifer lot and spend some time watching them, and really the only thing we have out there is their riding.
The heifer breeding program, they have a voluntary wait period on the heifers of 388 days. They get a shot of prostaglandin coming into the breeding pen. We use sex semen first 2 services on the strong heats. Any questionable heats, we drop back and use conventional semen. Any heifer that's been in the breeding pen for 13 months is put on a 5-day cedar sync program, and so that ensures a service in those heifers within 30 days of entering the breeding pen.
Each person that gives a shot or breeds a cow or anything, treats an animal, you've got to write it down on the barn report, enter it right into the computer, or write it on a report that then will be entered into the computer. We rely heavily on the reports that we are able then to print out and use on a daily management basis.
The genetic selection here at Myers Farm is really balanced. These guys have emphasized some of the fitness traits early on in their selection process, with that being productive life, daughter pregnancy rate, and somatic cell. The conformation traits that we really go after is we want to ensure super good udders, sound feet and legs, and we want moderate framed cattle. They started using sex semen, probably one of the first producers in the country to use sex semen. As we brought sex semen to the marketplace, they actually did some field trials here. And again, as I said earlier, they use it first 2 services in virgin heifers only, and then move on conventional semen.
As a manager, I focus on the overall day-to-day operation of the dairy and putting out the fires day to day, and then the crop production, and then the nutrient management. That's my main focuses. I've had to learn not to micromanage so much. That's one thing I did learn, and especially with family.
Basically, everybody knows that if they have a problem or they have a question, they know which person to go to with it.
Mary Jane and I have worked together for 37 years, and we've got pretty good at it, and I enjoy working with her very much, and every day's a joy to be with her.
Early on, we did everything side by side. I was his right-hand girl and loved every minute of it, but it got to the point where I had a little more patience with the cows than he did, but it's probably because he had all these 11 other things going on in his mind.
What day to plant, what day to start the harvest, what day to book feed, what day not to book feed. I mean, it's always challenges. And then the same thing with equipment, what equipment we need to replace, try to be proactive. I need a new gator.
Here on the farm, we have a lot of different individuals now with 23, 24 employees, counting family. And every person's different. Every person has a different set of circumstances they're bringing to the job in the morning. And I just think that we've been able to come with an attitude of, we love what we do, so why not make it an enjoyable time?
The success here from Myers Farm, not only in the reproductive arena, but somatic cell, herd health, is the attention, first and foremost, attention to details. Starts with high quality homegrown forages, cow comfort's paramount, and then the people aspect. Just long tenured people that's committed to the success of the dairies, real team players, and the execution of the plan. Most farms these days have a plan, whether it be their milking procedure, the reproductive protocols. My opinion, the difference between an average farm, a good farm, the difference between a good farm and a great farm is the execution of that plan. And these guys execute every day. And I think that's the big difference that we see here.